Hello and welcome to the Voyage, episode 14. In this episode I'm actually going to review some of the changes that have already been rolled into Tribble for Season 7. I figured this little scene would look somewhat interesting. A Borg cube coming towards me. Alright. I can't show you much right now as not much has actually been rolled into Tribble yet. So I will actually go through and show you some of the changes. I will not do any of the playthroughs for the new fleet actions or STFs, as I couldn't record this till very early in the morning and there's almost nobody on Tribble, so it's already hard enough getting a group during prime time. Alright, let's get it so we can see stuff. Alright, first thing I wish to note, have you guys notice, is they've changed the PvE queue. They've been talking about doing something like this for a while, and I must say I actually really do like it. They've added a new shuttle event, the Vault event. It's called Ensnared. It is pretty much the Vault, but with Tholians instead of Romulans as your enemy. I played it a little early, a few days ago, but you could play it in your ship, your actual starship. You don't need a shuttle like you did for the actual Vault shuttle event. Of course, the Azure Nebula rescue. The Tholians are holding captured Romulan ships. I haven't played this. I queued up for it the other day. I didn't get into it. And then of course the one thing everybody since I've started playing this game has been looking into, that is Into the Hive. You have Elite and Standard. I do not know if they're going to have a space version of Into the Hive. They haven't talked too much about it. Over whether or not they'll have a space version. But I do have one kind of complaint, but I don't know if they're going to fix this. It's so vocal in the forums, this one thing. But you see how it says number of players that are required? 5, and of course you have some that require 20 and 10. But it doesn't tell you, like the old one told you how many was currently in the queue waiting to join an actual game. This does not. Of course they also filter like region, space, or ground. Let's say I only want to do space. It'll only show me space. Oh, it also shows you the rewards too. They're going to be moving the encrypted data chips over into Omega marks. And of course they got fleet marks. They're going to be taking the Romulan data chips and moving them over into Romulan marks. It's mostly a way for them trying to cut back on the amount of currencies, which is what dilithium was brought in for. They had a problem. As they rolled in new stuff, they brought in new currencies with it. So they're working actually on like Omega marks. I actually haven't messed around with too much of the Omega marks yet. Of course you could filter like what rewards you get. And I hear one of the rewards for the STFs is they're going to take away the dilithium, but I just hear that as a rumor. I saw no official news on that. One thing I'm a little disappointed about is, like I talked about in my previous vlog, the Tau Diwa block. It shows it in the map, but there is no way into it yet. Of course, this is Tribble, this is testing, and a lot of this stuff came out just a few days ago, to about a week ago. So I'm not expecting this whole thing to be fully operational yet. But it does look interesting. As you can see, Kittimer, the Azure Nebula, or however it's really pronounced, Nimbus, New Romulus, and Narendra. I'm actually going... I hope you could visit all of them, at least go into space version. Just because being a big Star Trek fan, I always wanted to see Narendra 3. Because if you watched, my favorite episode of The Next Generation was yesterday's Enterprise. That's where the Enterprise C comes out of that time nebula, or time ship, and changes the past, causing this huge war. I liked that episode. That was my favorite episode of all the Star Treks, with Best of Both Worlds following in at close second. But as it stands, there's currently no way to it. It goes to the Arnicus Arm, also the Psi Verilum block will also, like these two sectors, go straight down to the Psi Canis block, and then whatever was really in between the two right here. Like you had the Arnicus Arm, and I forget what was really here, up here, if anything. But they did change the actual galaxy map the way it shows on here, which I do like. Well, I hope this was a halfway decent video, and I hope they release more content within the next week so that I could do some in Season 7 footage. I wish I could show you some of the new missions, but they take forever to queue up, and I tend to forget to start fraps once I'm in them. And right now I'm not in Tribble so much, because Tribble is only really active during prime time, in which I'm usually busy during normal prime time hours. 3 new blog posts have been released. 2 of them are on missions that have been on Tribble. One of them is on a new feature that I don't even have access to on Tribble. I'll post a link to all 3 in the description below. Like I said, I hope they release more next week so that I can show you some in-game footage. Particularly, I also want to explore the new sector block. I've wanted to explore it since they announced the new sector block a few weeks ago, last week. Now I'm going to go and show you how you can enroll in the Tribble test server, because I had a few fleet members ask me how to get here. So I shall do that. Even if you have a lifetime membership, you now still have to do something to do it. It used to be if you bought the lifetime membership, you got instant access to Tribble. Now you have to apply for it. If you are a gold, well, I'll just go straight into it. Alright, so see you on the STO website. Alright, here we are on the Star Trek Online website. If you want to sign up for the Tribble test server, you have to do it from here. Alright, now before I actually show you how to do it, I'm going to let you know I'm assuming a few things. One is that you are already logged into the Star Trek Online website, or to Perfect World Entertainment's website. And if you're not, instead of it saying welcome William McCormick, it'll say log in, register. And another thing I'm assuming is you know a little bit about getting to Star Trek Online. I mean, it's StarTrekOnline.com or sto.perfectworld.com. Alright, now that we're here, we're going to go to Community and down to Community Hub. And we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see Tribble Test Server. And, you know, it gives you a little information. A Tribble Test Server gives you a unique opportunity to explore and provide feedback on upcoming editions, yada, yada, yada. If you click on it, now, for me, it'll take me to the character copy screen. For you, it'll take you to the Tribble Test Server application, which will pretty much just give you a little checkbox and a button. I forget exactly what it was when I applied. That states that you want to be a Tribble tester, and then hit apply. Now, I hear different results for people who are solid free-to-play, as opposed to anybody who was formerly gold, and even different ones for people who are gold when they applied. I was gold when I applied, you know, paying a monthly fee, and I was approved the second I hit that OK button, submit. I got the email stating you were approved, close the launcher and reload it so it gets updated to accept you into the Tribble test server. I have heard people who are free to play, if they were formerly gold, it could take up to an hour. Sometimes it's instant. And people who are free to play could theoretically, and I have seen it happen, get rejected. Now, I do know a lot of people who are free to play that are on the Tribble test server, and I have heard of 1 or 2 people getting rejected. The people who get rejected usually have a lot of complaints. People who have submitted a harassment report, and they looked into it, and it wasn't enough for them to get kicked out of the game, but it was enough that they got a file put on their name or something, I'm guessing. Now, here's how we're going to log into Tribble. Let me blur this out a little bit as I put in my password. And then you'll see shard. What shard do you want? Live, holodeck, public test, Tribble, and redshirt. Now, quick reference. Wait till the holodeck is done patching, even if it's already up to date. Because if it's in the middle of patching and then you just click over, it'll sometimes make it so you have to manually tell it to patch. And then you go to redshirt, but I don't really keep redshirt on this one, so it would have a 4 gig download if I click that. And then you hit engage, and it's almost exactly like going into holodeck, only it is a little slower logging in. Next week, if they haven't added any social environments into STO, I intend to talk about some of the changes that are being argued against by the community that I support. One of them being is they're taking away the escort's ability to tank. So, until next week, have a nice week.